Hi everyone. My guest today is Rajan Agarwal. He is Vice President Technology in Zinnia. He has shaped not just careers but people and journeys as well. And Rajan, it's an absolute honor to have you in this podcast.
Thank you very much, Saurabh, for inviting me. I'm really happy and glad to be part of your leadership source. Yeah, I can see this here. Great.
Well, so as you know, the purpose of Leadership Source is to find out what is that unique blend of elements which make you exceptional leader. And that is what we will be exploring in today's discussion. The idea is just to unravel how you have shaped up as a leader. So first thing that I would like to ask you is, if some young person or if I get to meet Rajan who was like 20 years old, so what can I expect? Or were there any specific elements of leadership in making at the very time you started your career?
20 years old.
Yeah.
Well, let me go back into memories. Yes. Saurabh, what I think you need to understand, or maybe I can talk about me, a young lad belonging to a middle class family, obviously rich in ethics, those kind of cultures we had. Aspirational goals definitely we had. So I belong to a family where a lot of discussion used to happen around Indian mythology, how things are moving. Though I was not that much participative in those discussions, my father used to discuss a lot of Ramayana stories, how is happening, Mahabharata stories. More into debates, discussions around that. Probably somewhere those things got into my mind. Maybe I shaped up, and then I became aspirational at some point of time. But initially, more it was like how to start, build a career, go into something, find a job. That was there. But some maybe in my career, after 3 4 years of joining the industry, I met certain people. I saw the outlook, how industry is moving, and the kind of responsibility I started getting into my job. I would say that it started shaping me into this role.
And that's very interesting for you to say. In fact, I love the fact that you knew 3 4 years down the line something happened which started shaping your journey. So was there any specific breakthrough moment that you can recall? Maybe a big failure or a massive success that perhaps put you on a fast track lane, or something that taught you exceptional well that I'm sure you have better off at as compared to many people who started their career with you. So what was those moments? Can you give us some insights?
Two, three things happened, Saurabh. One, when I was like, a programmer, started coding, doing basic applications, all that we're doing. So I saw, so my seniors were coming to office. They were either part of US or they were part of India, and the kind of interaction I had with them, limited interaction, definitely not too much, but yes, in meetings somewhere I saw, somewhere it kind of fascinated me, and I wanted to become that kind of person. Maybe after 10 years, 20 years, 15 years, I should be somewhere, doing that. I feel that fulfill today as I'm doing it, and I'm able to do that effectively. But this was one thing. The failure, I would say, even before starting into this industry, I was not very much sure what to do. And there was a rough phase in my life, not decided, do this, do that. And I think everybody has. That would be my advice to young people who are coming into the industry, either any industry they go. You definitely have a phase where nothing is decided what is going to happen. Maybe your destiny is shaping you or something is happening. So I was not able to see a very clear future for me. It was like age of 21. I can remember precisely 21. I was exploring this. I read number of books. I read into accounting. I went into philosophy. I went into psychology. I read number of things. What is best for me? Then somebody met me. Fortunately, I was discussing with them, and then he took kind of a very informal interview of me. Understood what I can do, and there he somehow understood that you are a guy good fit for IT. And then he suggested me, you enter into the IT.
And you were a student at that time?
At that time, I was studying different subjects, as mentioned, exploring what I can do, what should be good for me. And I was looking for somebody who can mentor me, definitely. So I see, so that was a failure moment for me. I explored, but everything was like dark for me. And I started in that, and then today I feel that I'm great and happy too that I'm there. I'm fortunate.
Absolutely. Like, I think I am one of those few people who, not few, I would say, a large section of people who Rajan influences every day by his conduct. And many of you would not be aware of it, but we are in same office. And I'm fortunate enough that I get to drink a lot of tea or breaks with Rajan. And many times the discussion is also around the challenges. And since Rajan, you were talking about early influences, you've clearly laid out how your father helped you in terms of building your spiritual resistance. And the gentleman you met who guided you that perhaps IT would be the best field for you. What would you say? Have there been any major influences every now and then, and those mentors who have stepped in? Does that come naturally to you, or having those mentors is something that you should proactively seek?
I think very interesting question, and it goes many parts to it. At different intervals of my career, I have been interacting with a lot of people who can help me, who can coach me, who can mentor me, who can guide me into different aspects of life. I think in the very early career of me, maybe it was 2002 and 2003, I got promoted to a little senior level than programming. Then I started, feeling that I need somebody who can help me. Then I started exploring who can I meet. Then I met people who were in different organization at that point of time, and they were much senior to me. Somehow LinkedIn, all were not there at that point of time. It was little struggle to find. So I try to reach different people whom I know, and if they know somebody in the industry, then I explored and find some time to have a tea, coffee kind of a conversation with them. Maybe they gave 20 minutes, half an hour. I went to their places and met them. So the very first advice, not the first year, but important advice which I can share here, I got it. There was a person who was working with this very big company in India. They were running an Odyssey offshore development center, close to 500 people they had. So I got to meet the HR head of that company. And he gave me a very good piece of advice. He said that we are not after technology. It is, if you're hiring somebody, if it is technology, process, people, these are the three triangles everybody talks about.
Could you repeat that? Like
Technology, people, and process. This is the triangle.
Okay.
You have to have the right set of people, you have to have the right set of process, and you have to have the right set of technology. So he said that 50% weightage we give to the people. If you have the right people with you, then we are a good company. So that piece of advice somehow got stuck to me, and it kind of hardwired to me. From there, I got my interest into the people psychology. How can I have a good team? What should I do for the right people? How can we make the right people? All that we started. Then I started reading those kind of materials. So one of the books I read at that time, You Can Win, from Shiv Khera. So I think the very first chapter, there's a story in that book that talks about there's a balloon seller who is selling the balloon, and there's a small children around him who are seeing. The interesting part in the balloon is if you leave the balloon, it will go up in the sky, and different colors were there, like green, red, black, white, all different colors. There was a small child who came to that guy, the balloon seller, and he asked, if I buy a black balloon, would it go up or not? The balloon seller says it will go up. It is not the color of the balloon that is deciding it will go up or not. It is something inside the balloon that decides whether it will go up or not.
And that is such a profound kind of metaphor for us building ourselves internally. And
so that's inside is your attitude. This is how that book defines. Your attitude defines you, how much up you can go. That moment, I started deeply thinking on that, what is my attitude, what I am doing, what should I change into myself. and then interacting with the people and all that. Then I entered myself into hiring in the organization. I said, okay, I should contribute more into the hiring process also in the organization.
And that was proactive decision?
Proactive decision. Nobody said to me. I reached to the hiring team. I asked them, okay, I want to go learn more into this process, how we can get the right kind of talent, or not technology only, the attitude, and how we can build. I entered into the processes at that point of time. Then I learned a lot about them.
And that was around like 2008 or?
And not 28, maybe earlier than that, 2006 or 5, and yeah, at that point of time.
And that's so close to you getting your first promotion.
First promotion, yes, up to that level, with which I can talk about, like not leadership but more managerial, you can say, where you are accountable for not delivering yourself but for the team members or the colleagues working with you. This is like that way, I can say.
And I remember there was a time when we were on a tea break and we were just talking about how your career has shaped up. And I clearly remember you telling me that when you initially started, there was this small company that you started off with, wherein all the tenured people had left overnight or like in a very short notice. And suddenly you, along with some freshers, were left with the responsibility of managing that process. And how did that happen? Like, how do you manage stress? And I mean, that I think that was way before you started with any of the formal big companies.
All right. So yeah, so this is an interesting story, and this has happened with me long back in the very beginning. IT industry, had been always challenging, and there is a cycle which comes where a lot of talent would leave you. So this happened with me 2 times. One I explain you. This one, like instead talking about. So the Bangalore was coming more funded units were happening, and good pay packages were given. So everybody was getting good offers. So people who were working with me at that point of time, my team, all got good offer. A VC funded company at that point of time offered all of them. And there was a culture also at that point of time. If I am leaving, probably my team will also move with me. Even that happens today also, but not that big or at a scale. But yes, it was happening. So there was a challenge. And with me, it always happened this way. If that kind of opportunity or situation came, I never said, okay, no. I said, okay, let me do it. I'll try. At least let me try. So this was one incident. Another incident in my previous company, we worked on a project. We worked on that project for 3 years. And by the time it was supposed to go live or to production, deliver to the client, everybody left before that. Everybody on that team. We had to build an entirely new team. And I went to US also to deliver that product. Who joined me in US for a period of 3 months, 6 months, all were new people. So I had a challenge to train them. I had a challenge to, and it's all learning, I would say, and not a challenge. Now I see everything as an opportunity. It was more of, a different kind of learning I had to do. Yeah.
Awesome. So when I look at young people today, what I personally feel, and they can be right at their own place, but it's like when somebody from Gen Z joins our organization, there is a massive cultural difference between people of our generation versus the new generation that is coming in. And many times I hear this conversation that since the job was too challenging, or maybe, I was not getting to learn anything within the first month, they decide to switch and move, and they keep on doing that very often. So if a young person comes to you, let's say one of the interns who's joined your organization and he's just under your wing, what would be your advice in terms of a long-term strategic career growth for them?
Sort of the way I look at it from a long-term strategy, from building a career, I'll bring 2 aspects to it. Number one, when we started our career, since then till now, industry has changed, process have changed, people have changed, expectations have changed, the way of functioning, the way of working in market scenario, industry, everybody has changed. But still, I am a firm believer in basics. I'll still talk about those basics. So number one, so if you talk about the leadership, and there are people leader, there are process leader, there are technology leaders, and there's a product leader. So I have been fortunate to work in all these four areas. So from a people perspective, how to grow, how to groom, how to attract, how to hire them, how to basically inspire them, admire them. This is a different line of thinking we have. Then on the technology, if we talk about how you are working with the emerging technologies and landscape of that, as a leader, you have to visualize and you have to vision and all that. Similarly, for the process side, how processes are happening and if you are building on a product. Now, if you see me or anybody in my age who started that career, everybody you will find that they work in all these four areas.
Right.
They're leader of mixed kind of approach. They understand people, they understand technology, they understand process. But now, if you talk about today, I think you have to choose one of those as your specific or key skill areas. That is number one. You can't go like that you become everything. You can't do. Probably the kind of expertise is needed, kind of the industry is demanding. That way you decide your field, whether you want to become a people oriented leader, you want to become tech leader, or you want to become whatever, maybe AI leader tomorrow, whatever you want to become, go into that specific. So there are chunks or ages you can define your career if you are coming. So like first 4 years, then maybe next 4 years, next 4 years, or whatever works for you.
Right.
The first 4 years you should work on everything. There should not be any adjective. There should not be any kind of thing. Okay, it is good or bad. It is small or big. I will do this or not that. Nothing like that.
So that's like exposing yourself to every challenge that you can.
Every challenge, every area in the organization, whatever it works. It can be anything. It can be you are a testing person, you are a coder, or you are a programmer, you are a functional specialist, whatever it is. So that you will be able to understand what each area, what kind of a skill, what kind of mental thought process, what kind of modeling you need to have. Probably somewhere you will find your interest,
Right.
and then sharpen that interest. And understand that find the company or find that division in the organization where you can sharpen that expertise of yours. So I put it into like nail focused approach and a broken comb approach. The broken comb approach says that you should have a skill of all. Like if you say the broken comb, it has got some tooth like half or maybe 3/4, maybe full, maybe not there. Then you divide your skill and you learn everything. Somewhere you are very good, somewhere you are not very good, somewhere maybe poor, but you at least know. Then find out what is your good area. Just do the nail sharp focus on that. So that becomes your key area. That is my advice to anybody. And that is I have followed too.
So many young people that I meet are usually waiting for that aha or that grand moment that this would suddenly start to click for them. So your suggestion is that instead of waiting for that moment, explore what else you can do, and while exploring it, identify your own strengths and pleasure and things that align with your skills, with your own competencies. Start doing that more. That is how you'll build your career.
Correct. Yes. So finding the competency, finding your strength is very important. I believe there are two approaches. One, some people suggest work on your weaknesses, and some people suggest
Work on
your strengths.
Yeah.
I'm believer in the second category.
Yeah.
What is your strength?
Keep on building.
Keep on building it. Even you are today in your weakness, you can go here. But in your strength, if you're here, you can go here. So focus on your strength. That is my, I don't know you agree or not, how many people agree, but this is how I feel.
Well, I completely agree with you, because that's what like my mentors always told me, that instead of diluting your focus working on your weaknesses, it's of course important to conquer your weakness, but don't forget your strengths while you're doing that, because eventually your strength will give you that rocket propulsion as compared to your competition at any given point of time. So I loved your thoughts about the new people who are coming in. And completely contrary to that, I also find a lot of people leaders and managers who are still stuck in a mindset perhaps which our industry saw in early 2000s or early 2010s, who are not taking care of their people and who are just, and so many videos comes out wherein like one manager is shouting on the entire span because some targets have not been met. And when I meet you and I see your style of functioning, there's a complete calm when you speak to your team members, even in the moment of challenges. So I do overhear this part wherein people are worried that there's a call with Rajan, so we need to be prepared for it. But there's never panic when they have to approach you or when you are leading a project. So for the managers who are not able to take your approach, who just still use sticks and batons to get the work done, what would be your suggestion, especially considering we are now in 2025 and times have massively changed? I don't want you to put.
I don't know whether I understand your question fully here, but yes, and how people do take me, my approach, and but yes, I have been more like emotional, you can say, or more empathetic to the people who are working with me. At some time, I maybe shout also. It is. Not very often, but sometime I see when things are going beyond, then sometime I go. But lately, after I think it is more than 8 years or maybe then that I changed that approach also. I saw no, it is not that you see the calm Rajan today, it is a calm version of me from 20 years. It is not that, right? I have been impatient also and expect.
And that's exactly what I want to explore with you. You've transitioned from that impatient version to where you are today, and I see so many people not willing to take that transition of transformation from a personality which was valid or maybe relevant 20 years ago, and they're still living the same personality without having any scope of empathy, without caring for the people, just running after numbers. So how can somebody take
Yeah,
that
I
transition?
give you the different insight into this and what actually changed me.
And you're still not getting advice to other people, right? So what changed you?
I'm glad that you asked, I think, this question, and you are probably unpacking me or unfolding me on that in this question. Uh, I read long back, leaders are known for either the outcome, the great outcome they achieve, or the culture they build, or the people they build. I thought I should fall into the second category. The first one did not appeal me, or that did not, fascinated me on that point of time. For example, I'm known for that. Okay, you did X, you did Y, you did Z. These are your outcomes. Your resume should not reflect that. The kind of legacy, the kind of teams I can build, the kind of culture I can shape, that was more interesting to me. And then I started working on those areas, those skills, connecting with the people, talking to them, what they need, what they don't need, what is liking with them, what is not liking with them. And then I started a very interesting program in my initial like previous organization, knowledge promotion group, where objective was purely to talk and work on the people, like how to improve their knowledge in every area. Anything, it was not technology, anything where they want to learn, they want to talk about, let's talk about, whether it is stress management, whether it is health oriented, communication skills, anything. So that connected me with the people more. They started seeing me into that, okay, this person we work with definitely going to help us in building an overall personality or something, for future oriented. So this is one. The second thing, if you go into the mapping of the skill, then you have to find out what kind of strengths everybody has. Then I learned this concept of sometime, I think different terms are there, shadow job change kind of thing, where you experiment with the people. Maybe I know you, Saurabh, you are very good into, let's say your function area is learning and which you are very good at, you are expert. But there can be something else also which you may be very good at. We can try with you. There's no harm in trying. So I tried with the people different kind of functions they were not supposed to do, but somehow I either influenced them or persuaded them, talked to them, maybe in 3 conversation, 4, 5, convinced them to try do this. and some of them are in a really good position today. They kind of send a thank note later on that you explored and you gave this. Today we are heading at that kind of a division in some company today, and sitting on a very good pay packages or living a very comfortable life. So those kind of approaches probably helped me, and I'm more of a like person who used to talk when I studied in my college life. Also, I used to sit with people on a cup of tea just for conversation, listening to them, and that's it. So maybe that helped me in talking to the people today also.
So perhaps Rajan is not directly answering this question as to what the leaders who are not being human can do, but have given us insight into what he did. So I'm sure many of us can take a leaf, or we can forward this suggestion to those who have not taken that leaf up until now. And what I really love, Rajan, I'm so sorry, I know you want to speak something, but what I really love is the fact that unless you are not focusing on keeping a legacy behind you in terms of what people think of you, you're not doing justice to your leadership role. You're maybe just a numbers man, but not people man. And your resume can reflect hundreds of projects. But at the end of the day, when you sit with yourself, what actually matter to you as a leader is what people talk about you. So that's, I think, is something very profound that I learned from you.
Thanks for the encouraging words, Saurabh, but I don't know how people perceive me. But I think I'm happy.
Right.
The way.
And you've been part of such a major transitions, and you've gone through mergers and acquisitions. I think at your peak, you have around like 1,000 people under your span who are reporting
Right.
to you
Yeah.
correctly. So, how challenging it is for you as a leader to
I
make you these changes.
I think you did a lot of research on my profile or resume. Yes, there was a part when I worked on mergers, acquisitions, and big acquisitions. Those like $1 million, $1 billion acquisitions, they were happening, and it was not happening like uh, um, a good amount of gap or like span. It was happening in a very small, maybe after 2 months, after 10 days, or kind of 6 months. The company had a different plan to go, very aggressive, very huge plan to do. So they had their own way. And I became part of that team. So I worked on due diligence. It was, I would say, a tough portion of my career. Merger and acquisition are not easy to handle with. You need to deal with lot of emotions of the people. You need to deal with their jobs. You need to deal with their egos, especially at the senior levels. You need to deal with lot of other complications, and financial discipline is equally important. So there, one of the best advices or best things I learned about the financial discipline. Once you go into mergers, acquisitions, finance plays a major role. How things are moving, how pyramid is consolidating and rationalized, all that things I learned. And sometimes you take a tough decision. So one advice I got is, for a leader, and I can share is that, and which is I had to take a tough call, which I did eventually. So initially I was not taking, and I was reluctant about all that. But I was told that taking a popular decision is very easy for a leader. Leader becomes leader only when he take a tough decisions. So that also I reveal and share with you. Not only leader is not always have a rosy picture. And there are tough decisions, tough calls. Aristotle, everybody knows.
Yeah.
So he defined a triangle in the very beginning. The triangle has got 3 portions to it. I have to recall like how they call it, like something like logos and pothos and ethos, something like that. But what it talks about the logic. The very first is logic. Second thing he talks about is the emotions. And the third thing he talks about the credibility. So leader has to have all these 3. If you do not have, if your conversation, your decisions are not logic based, you can't be a good leader. If you do not have an emotional angle, emotional balance in your work, then you are not a good leader. And if your credibility is not there, then you're not a good leader. So that philosophy has followed, and somehow coming back to your original question, which you talked about 20 years back, or when I was 20 years old, I can relate. Some of these things got inculcated in me as part of my family values, part of a bigger family, and kind of discussions happening, emotional, um, being empathic or emotional to the people, logical discussions, and then credibility was very paramount to us. That being like in Agrawal family or Bania family, you have to be, your credibility words should be always important. So that way I see that my credibility got built into my DNA at that point of time.
And when your teams go through very massive changes, like very recently, just a year back, I think your team moved from one organization and was acquired by another organization, and you transition into that. So do you think these elements are the ones which makes your team say that, okay, if Rajan is going there, let's all go there as well?
I can't quote it like how they did what they think, but for and definitely I would say it was a major. I would not say influence, but a factor was there. Definitely, yes. That if I'm working with them, I with them, they were more comfortable. Both sides.
And talking about these transitions in your team, but I know it for sure because I've been part of conversations with casual conversations with your team, and I know like how much they value you. And I also see that you are managing teams which is like throughout generations, like people who are nearly as old as you are versus who are just fresh out of college seeking experience of corporate world. So how do you manage those relationships across those different age groups? Anything specific that you do that helps you to have that reputation equally uh, you know valued at all age groups?
See, Saurabh, good question and very interesting. Let me tell you one thing. If you want to be in the learning mode, which we should be there, then you should always connect with the younger people. Uh, I'm not saying not with connect with the older people. That is not the meaning of this. But the way any new generation people are coming who are younger to you, the way they can teach you, the way they can tell you number of things. For example, this AI budge, AI world is happening. The way new generation is coming, the way they understand this modeling, LLMs kind of thing, probably the people of my age would not be able to understand. So my source of learning, one of the sources of learning had been into connecting with the younger generation always. That was number one. Number two, to encourage them. And why it is that when I also joined the industry, I did number of mistakes, wrong decisions I took. Somebody backed my decision. Somebody, told me that this is what you have done wrong, and they kind of like helped me in that. So same thing I follow. I very very. I think it is probably 2000. I was given a piece of code to write. I was a programmer in the very beginning. It may be like my first or second job, very beginning. The team lead who was my team lead, he came to me. It was probably 8:30 p.m. in the evening. I was sitting in the office working. He came to me, what happened? Why did not you go? Everybody has left. I said, I'm working. My job is not done because I was not that proficient at that time. I was learning. It took me longer time to fix. Then he sat with me and he said, okay, let me finish your work. Let me help you. Let me explain you. And so this was very different moment for me to understand that a leader kind of a person can be like this. And I followed this approach. So since then, I too follow that. It kind of ingrained in me. If my team members are working and they are somewhere stuck, I proactively go and see, okay, let's help it out. Though I don't need to do now, that's a different thing. My teams are like self-sufficient as of today, but yes, this has been or one of my like primary motivators.
I think this is the signature for your entire team, wherein I see that every person you've groomed has this habit of, staying with his team, and when they are stuck, they spend some time doing that one basic thing that perhaps the other person is struggling with. So you've built that culture in your team. That's what I've seen, and I really admire about you. Um, just a little deviation to this. So if you have someone who is budding leader, he's great or she's great technically, but they're struggling to lead, what would be that one advice wherein you would give to that person who might be technically brilliant but right now not up the curve in the leadership?
So you were saying like somebody who is not good to lead and or
Or maybe they're still learning how to lead and they're struggling on that part. And I see so many. The reason I'm asking this question is because so many of us get promoted because we are exceptional at what we do. We are great individual contributors, but the moment we reach next level and there's a span of people to manage, we suddenly find ourselves in a completely different territory. So what would be your suggestion as to how that person should transition into that? Because what I see people doing is to sink back into what they were good at, and perhaps they lose the edge of what they should gain of managing people. So Rajan, what's your idea?
um, the way, if I understood the question rightly, and the way I can look at it, and this example I gave to my team also a number of people, number of times. This is my favorite like mode to explain them. So in the ladder, in the corporate ladder, you are here, and somebody is here, and somebody is here. The only way you can grow in the ladder is you need to push or come out of the inertia or to build the capability. Somebody at the top should be able to pull you up. That is number one. If somebody is sitting at the top is not able to, is not interested to pull you up, then you can't grow, or you can't take that leadership role, or you can't experiment even also. And the team within you, or somewhere down the, like in the ladder, should be able to push you up. So for example, I can give you, I'll not disclose the names, but yes, situation had come. I had a very different opportunity to develop, like we had a project and I had somebody that this person can lead, but this person was stuck in his existing work. It took me 6 months to negotiate and influence the people that I want to pull this guy here, and to explain them, the people who are like how they can make this transition, how can they grow. This is one. So this guy was interested, and you kind of 6 months it took time, but finally it happened. So you need that some some helping hand to do. Number two, I think your question was somebody is capable, like technically very capable. What kind of thing? Sometimes see, leadership. If you ask of the leadership is not difficult, but it is complicated, and it is unique also. Like my style of leadership would be entirely unique the way your leadership or somebody you talk in the industry would be totally different. So we have to coach, we have to see what are his fear factors, why he's not interested. Maybe he doesn't want to take that job up. So we have to find out like why he's not or she is not interested into going up. Leadership has a lot of those kind of challenges also. So I think there's no direct recipe which I can give you. Okay, let's say it is probably your case, then I can talk about later on with you that you should do this to grow yourself. This is how you can grow. This is how you can take that, but not obviously. I can take general answer to this. Yeah.
But I would love to find out this one question about you, Rajan. You worked excessive. I see you working excessive hours. Usually, like first one to come, last one to go, and then I see you active on different DMs even after you go back home. So, how do you balance that burnout? And is it actually? I mean, does that happen to leaders? And how do you balance that burnout?
See, the version of me you are seeing today is less active.
Okay.
Than I had been earlier. Honestly, I can talk about earlier I had been more active. Like you can put me into workaholic. There had been a time like my son was sleeping in the morning. Not sleeping, he left the school and I was sleeping. I couldn't see him. And when I reached home, he was sleeping. So definitely there had been those situations or not situations like good amount of time this had happened. But later I learned this that it is not right thing to do. I changed my approach. I changed all that. But again, centerpiece of the question or this I philosophy, I believe in work, and work is my priority anytime. And I do not wait. And this is a piece of advice or suggestions if somebody listens to this podcast, and I think should people listen to it. If you sum up and then you ask me, I would say we should work hard, work smart, maximum work, whatever we can do, we should do. The reason I believe in that, it is not like my one day theory. This is something. Sometime I was forced to work hard. I worked till 3 a.m. in the morning also. A situation happened. Project got wrongly estimated. We had to deliver. We had to do. Deadline is deadline. Commitment is commitment. You have to do. You have to be, honest to your paycheck. Number two. Now, when I traveled different countries, US I went to UK, I went to Brazil, I went India. India obviously we live in. UK, I saw that people do not work especially on Fridays. After 1 p.m., everybody is like going into pubs or bars or weekend mode, yeah. When I went to Brazil, I didn't find it. Brazil, people are working hard till, 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Then I found a difference between the developed countries and non-developing nations. If you're developed, then you can afford to do it. So I also got into that mode. Somewhere I felt that, I am in good amount of money, I'm good, then why should I work that much hard? Peaceful life I can live. But then, one thing which definitely against more national thought here, that, okay, yes, as a country we should hard because our country should be in a good situation. And number two, what happened is, in the very early stage, again, I would say, the Bhagavad Gita, everybody probably knows about it. Reading, I don't know. But there is conversation happening between Arjun and Krishna. Arjun asks some question, I don't know what is that. But the answer from Krishna is coming like, okay, I have everything in the world which is available. This is the answer coming from Krishna, that anything available I have. Anything which I want, I can have. But still I work. So you follow me, you take at me because you are the inspiration for others. Right. So sometimes I do it for inspiration also. If you have become at a senior level in any organization or in the industry or wherever, people follow you. So you should definitely do something on that side also. Yes, you are like more of, example for them. So if Krishna can say that, see me, I am still working, I have everything, I am a god, for the way he declares I am a god, but still I am doing, then what is the harm for you to do it? You should definitely do it. So this thought, kind of sometimes when I go into lazy mode, lethargic mode, so this pulls me back and says, no, this is not good for you and for your coming generations. You should work hard and you should give this message. No, working is important. But in that does not mean the work-life balance. I think my family is happy with me.
Yes, and that's like what I also understand, because the entire work-life balance debate is also, for me, balanced around the fact whether you're passionate about something or not. Somebody who's not passionate about work would never care about work, and somebody who's extremely passionate and purposeful about what they are doing, they would not treat work as work. It would be just a passion or hobby for them, and that, I feel, is a very fine line that defines people who are pro and against work-life balance. if this podcast gets stored digitally and a leader 10 years from now looks back and goes through this podcast 2035, right, what would be one most important thing that you would like to leave with them so that they can lead better?
Your question is somebody, let's say it go digitally.
After 10 years, if they go back and after 10 years, if they are watching this podcast, what would be the one?
Somebody watching this, okay, you are talking futuristic question.
Yeah.
Like, so like, very tough to, look at. But yes, one of the important aspects of leadership is always, in future oriented, like future proof is the word. And you will go a lot of people, upgrading their skill sets and they want to future proof themselves. Don't know what will happen, what kind of a skill set, the way AI is disrupting, the way, other things are, even the way geopolitical situations are going on, kind of different aspects are there. So from that future perspective, after 10-15 years, one thing is definitely the AI is going to rule the world. So that I can give you from the perspective of AI. Second thing which I can, the AI has got two aspects. Number one, how to use it. Number two, how to build it. So how to use is very still a veritable part. People will learn. It will come to colleges, schools, or training institutes, coaching institutes. People will learn, and maybe it will be embedded into your daily device. You can use it. But how to build it, that is very important aspect. And I believe and I see that time will come that everybody would have to learn it. Otherwise, the misuse of this technology can do that. Like
same like what computers were in 1990s,
computer were still, you can't misuse the computer, the way at least we learn today, that you have a computer, you have a technology, you have an asset, but you can abuse it, but maybe 5-10%. Not that hackings are happening, cyber attacks.
So you're saying AI is kind of more dangerous?
So AI is much dangerous than in that aspect. You can use it this way or that way, negatively, and so that is one thing. Another thing, I am not that able to understand kind of generation is coming.
Right.
I can't comment how or comment on that, how smart people are coming, how things are coming, but definitely things will be divided into different, like very smart people and very low skill people. That is going to happen. So how you handle those situations, probably we need to see. And it is not for me, for the or like you, anyone has to learn that environment aspect, right?
So that person should be prepared for AI. That's what your overall.
So for my overall is for AI, and then this divide, knowledge division is going to definitely happen. The way I can see, smart people are there, very intelligent people are there, very educated people are there, and there is a population which doesn't know anything. I mean,
complete ignorance.
Like, there are three kind of people. One, who make the thing happen. Second, who basically help them in making the things happen. And third, who don't know what is happening. So this third population is going to grow.
Ignorance world. Awesome. Perfect, Rajan. I think we are running out of time, but not the topics. I would love to have you back in the podcast somewhere near soon, especially talking about generative AI and how things will be shaping in future. So what we covered today was from Krishna's karma to code, and definitely strategy to how his leadership has transformed over years. So Rajan, it was absolute pleasure to have you and find out what your secret ingredients to your leadership were. As I said earlier, I would love to have you again.
Sure.
I'm sure this discussion would have given a lot of insights to people who want to build their career in leadership and want to become better leader. If you want to learn more about leadership, please follow and keep an eye on this channel. We will bring you more such interviews and discussion, especially insights from what makes great leaders. See you soon. Thank you.